Now, Renault might not be the biggest selling European brand in Australia at the moment, but what we do love is our Go Faster Renault Sport models. In fact, Australia's the third biggest market in the world for that brand. Speaking of third, this is the third generation of the Megane RS. It's got a slightly smaller 1.8 litre turbo engine, but it's got 205 kilowatts. It'll do 0 to 100 Ks in 5.8 seconds. So what's it like to drive? Let's get out there and have a go. Based on the new Megane 5-door hatch, the RS gets a wider body to fit bigger 18 and 19-inch wheels, more dramatic front and rear end treatments, and even a luscious orange tonic paint job for those who reckon it still doesn't stand out enough. Pricing when it arrives in the third quarter of this year will be competitive, with the initial $45,000 odd sport version undercutting key rivals such as the Honda Civic Type R. The engine is a more powerful version of the 1.8 litre turbo fitted to the new Renault Alpine, and it's a cracker. Torquey down low, noisy when it needs to be, powerful up top and remarkably smooth into the bargain, it's the heart and soul of the new Megane RS. So this version of the Megane RS is the Sport. It's the one that we'll be getting first up. It'll cost about 45 grand. So one of the new things is the dual clutch gearbox, which is a first for the Megane RS. You can also get a manual. This is an option. It'll cost about 2.5 grand. It opens up the RS experience for those who don't drive manuals. Now, there's no performance penalty for that. It still does 0 to 100 in 5.8 seconds. It's the same as the manual. The gear shifts are quicker, but this one weighs a little bit more. This weighs 1,430 kilograms, opposed to about 1,405. The new 6-speed dual clutch transmission will be good for those who want an auto. But out on the track, the conventional manual gets the job done brilliantly. The version we drove on the track came with the Cup spec chassis, which not only has stiffer suspension, but a limited slip differential to get the power down evenly. Understeer is kept well under control. The rear end will slide around a bit if you want, and the Brembo brakes offer powerful, fade-free stopping power. Strangely enough, you won't be able to specify your standard RS with the good stuff from the Cup, but all is not lost. Next year we'll see the arrival of a trophy version that not only will come with the firmer suspension and tricky diff, but will have a more powerful 220 kilowatt engine and other hard-edged improvements. Back out on the road, it's obvious that the Megane RS has grown up somewhat in this third generation version. Not only does it grip hard and points beautifully thanks in part to that four-wheel steering, but the ride is surprisingly comfortable, and it's an accomplished grand tourer as well as a sports car. So the Sport, which we've driven on the road, has got a really good combination of potent performance but also quite a bit of comfort as well. It's got a dynamic bump stop in the damper, which means that it doesn't have to be too hard in the suspension, but it still corners flatly. Now, with 205 kilowatts, it doesn't sound massively powerful. The thing is, you floor it and it does get up and go. And you can just hear that. You can change the engine note actually by going through the different levels of driving mode that's here. If it goes into sport or race, it actually alters the exhaust note so it sounds a bit louder. Of course, the good thing about a hot hatch, or a good hot hatch, is always that you've got a practical car that's not a small sports car. With the RS, they've ditched the idea of a 2-door coupe. You can get the 5-door now, which is all you can get actually at the moment. It means you've got a back seat, you've got a reasonable sized boot. You can treat it as an everyday shopping car as well as a performance car. Now, of course, everyone wants to drive SUVs these days, and it's easy to forget that a good hatchback in the C segment, like the Megane, can do just about everything one of those can around town and on the open road. But when it's as good as the RS Megane, you've got a sports car as well, and for my money, you can keep your SUVs. With the Germans, Japanese and even Koreans all now having a stake in the hot hatch game, you'd probably wonder whether the French still have what it takes to match both the establishment and newcomers. With its beguiling blend of aggression and comfort, the new Megane RS seems to have all the answers.